ladies and gentlemen, we back with another reaction.
Sophia,
the kids called reaction. Walk back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen.
Somebody gets to another Jeffrey Dahmer. This one was inside of the mind. Jeffrey Dahmer, serial killer.
The Jailhouse interview.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, let's get into this. Another Jeffrey Star. No, that's not Jeffrey Star. It's
Jeffrey
Dahmer. Dahmer.
Jeffrey Star.
Too many people got the name Jeffrey.
I know, right? He okay.
I don't know, I went to great lengths. He is pure evil, but you'd never know it by looking at him. But when you hear him, that's another story. His killing field was Milwaukee, and he got away with murder for more than a decade. But how did any of this happen? For the first time ever, Nancy Glass is here, inside the world of Jeffrey Dahmer.
Bill, when I sat down opposite Jeffrey Dahmer,
I wonder how she felt.
I wondered what he would tell me, how hard it would be to get him to discuss his horrific crimes. What I found was that he was very forthcoming. He volunteered details that may be difficult to hear. I began by asking what he wanted.
I know, right? The whole background.
I had these obsessive desires and thoughts wanting to control them, to
flashback.
I don't know how to put it, possess them permanently.
And that's why you killed them.
Right. Right.
Imagine
Not
seeing
because
the
I was
ideas.
angry with them, not because I hated them, but because I wanted to keep them with me. And as my obsession grew, I was saving body parts such as skulls
You know, they never seen no men.
and skeletons.
Jeffrey Dahmer is recalling his monstrous past. Almost 2 years ago,
I don't think they'll send a man to interview him and they know he was killing him. He might get tempted.
the grisly remnants of one of the most
So he's not
horrible
going.
crime sprees in American
Look at
history.
that.
Jeffrey Dahmer,
And
an
it stinks.
unassuming chocolate factory worker, would eventually confess that he had seduced, murdered, and dismembered 17 young men.
Can't believe he was working at a
Even
chocolate
ate some
factory.
of his
You
victims'
see,
body
finally
parts.
came out and told the truth of everything
He
he was
instantly
doing.
became the center of worldwide media attention.
Everybody
A
wanted to
serial killer
talk to him.
unmasked.
The transformation in my skin over the last month has been ginormous.
There were protests and press conferences in Milwaukee as people tried to understand how this could have happened in their midst. How did Jeffrey Dahmer get away with murder after murder for 13
Because the
years?
costume
How
was
did a boy born into a hard-working middle-class family
Middle class.
turn into the worst kind of monster imaginable? In this exclusive interview, we put those questions to Jeffrey Dahmer himself. We met with him at the maximum security prison where he is serving his sentence of 999 years.
Damn.
For the first
Say
time,
that.
he
was dope
talks
getting
about
out.
That's
his
1,000
crimes
years.
and gives us a chilling look
Should have said
inside
that
the
was
mind of a serial
999
killer.
years.
I guess he did the first year.
It's a process that doesn't happen overnight. When you depersonalize another person and view them as just an object for pleasure instead of a living, breathing human being,
Then he would have still been here. Nobody killed him.
seems to make it easier.
Probably would have had an update interview.
He would have had like
There are
a
things you shouldn't.
The reason
online
why
account.
Jeffrey Dahmer was able to get away with his crimes was because of just what you are seeing here. Jeffrey Dahmer is intelligent and articulate. That is what makes him so frightening. But if you listen carefully to his words throughout this interview, you realize it is a thin disguise.
You do sound, though, like the kind of person who could have said to himself, "This is wrong. I must stop."
I always knew that it was wrong, but
he lives dry, so
after the first killing was not planned. I was coming back from the shopping mall back in '78. I had fantasies about picking up a hitchhiker and taking him back to the house and having complete control and dominance over him.
The hitchhiker's name was Stephen Hicks. He was just 18.
Oh, you still
Jeffrey
got him.
Dahmer took him to his parents' house. There he strangled him with a barbell. He dismembered the body and hid it in a drain pipe. It was Jeffrey Dahmer who gave those details to the police in his confession.
No one had a clue as to what was happening for over a decade.
I know.
During that time, Jeffrey Dahmer joined the army and was sent to Germany.
No.
He was eventually discharged for a drinking problem and returned to Ohio.
My dude was getting
9 years
blasted.
after Stephen Hicks' murder, killing began again.
What happened to you in the 9 years in between that you were able to stop? That you were able to control yourself?
She got
Just
some
wasn't an
arm.
opportunity to fully express what I wanted to do. There was just not the physical opportunity to do it then. And I started, when I moved to Milwaukee in '81, I started reading pornography, going to the bookstores. Eventually that led to frequenting the gay bars. And then
That's why they had to go to the bookstore to get
one
porn.
time I brought this young man back to the hotel room, the Ambassador Hotel. Was just planning on drugging him and spending the night with him. Had no intention of hurting him. When I woke up in the morning, he had a broken rib here.
He said had
Was
name.
heavily bruised. Apparently I had beaten him to death with my fists.
And you have no
Damn.
memory?
I have no memory of it. But that's what started the whole spree all over
I mean, he
again.
was like
Dahmer says he
wasted.
Yeah,
snuck the
intoxicated.
corpse of his victim, Stephen Toomey, out of his hotel room in a suitcase. Then he took it to his grandmother's house, where he cut up the body
How
and put
dare
it
you
in
do that,
plastic
Grandma,
garbage
though.
bags.
So weird.
When you killed these men, afterwards, were you repulsed? Were you upset?
No, at the time, it was almost addictive. It was almost
Oh, so
a surge of energy. I wouldn't have to worry about
2 years later, you can.
any of their needs or anything. I just had complete control of the situation.
But Jeffrey Dahmer was out of control. The urge to kill had overpowered him. As police later learned, he wasn't satisfied with his victim's death. He wanted more.
Why did you photograph them?
It was my way of remembering their appearance, their physical beauty. I also wanted to keep something. If I couldn't keep them there with me whole, at least I felt that I could keep their skeletons.
that boy, crazy.
And I even went so far as planning on setting up an altar
I eat that
with
also.
10 different skulls and skeletons.
And what was the purpose of the altar going to be?
As a sort of memorial,
Memorial.
a point where I could,
Bring him back.
I don't know, it's so bizarre and strange, it's hard to describe. A place where I could collect my thoughts and feed my obsession.
When the bodies were still in your apartment, there was no time when you would see them and say, this is grotesque, what have I done?
There were times, but the compulsive obsession with doing what I was doing overpowered any feelings of revulsion.
This man, with a quiet, almost shy demeanor, became a master manipulator
It's all
who was able to
sounds.
lure strangers he met at gay bars to his apartment. He was even able to con the police into returning a 14-year-old boy to him
Sad.
after neighbors called 911 upset that the child was in the street naked and bleeding.
Sad.
Dahmer
Damn,
convinced the
naked and
police that
bleeding.
he and the boy were simply having a lover's quarrel.
The intoxicated boyfriend of another boyfriend.
How old was this child?
It wasn't a child, it was an adult.
After the
They were
police
asking
left,
his ID.
Jeffrey Dahmer murdered that boy. Conorak sent the some phone.
He could have been
This man
saved.
says
Mhm.
he had a near-fatal encounter with Jeffrey Dahmer.
You want to take some picture of my back? He hit me with a rubber hammer
Mm.
on my neck.
He was lucky to escape because by then the killing had become almost routine.
And I was on.
Before you went out to pick up the man,
Before he wanted to show his face.
was there any kind of ritual you went through?
I go to the nightclubs, drink, watch the
Sounds
striptease
sick.
shows,
Needed help.
and if I didn't meet anyone at the bars, I'd go to the bath clubs and meet someone there, offer them money, and we'd go back to the apartment, have a few drinks. I'd have the sleeping pill mixture already prepared. Person would drink it, fall asleep,
And that's when he did his
and
business.
that's when they would be strangled.
Watching the movie Exorcist 3 was also part of his ritual. It put him in the mood for murder.
I felt so hopelessly evil and perverted that I actually derived a sort of pleasure from watching that tape.
Did you like feeling evil?
No, I didn't. But I tried to overcome the thoughts, and it worked for a while, but eventually I gave in.
He like, I
Jeffrey
got,
Dahmer
oh, I
may
got
say
999
things
years.
today that
Let me tell you the whole
I
story.
know, right? Might as well get the true up the story out.
Mm-hmm. And his
All
movie,
he can do
his
is
7
tell you
movies.
what happened, but he cannot stop whatever it is that drove him to kill in the first place.
Do you still feel those same urges? Do you still feel that compulsion, that obsession?
I wish I could say that it just left completely, but no, there are times when I still do have
That's why the boy got
old
killed.
compulsions.
Jeffrey
Try to hurt
Dahmer
one
says
of
as
them.
time
Right.
went on, his mind became more and
Well, you
more
can't do that in there.
Yet,
You got other
he was
killers.
clever
That she was
enough
like
to
a bodybuilder
continue
or
to
something.
elude police and lure young men to his apartment.
Cause remember, he was drugging them. He probably wasn't that strong.
Yeah, he
I
ain't got no
started
drugs in
having
there.
these obsessive thoughts when I was about 15 and 16, and they got worse and worse.
What were your fantasies about?
They were sexual fantasies of control, power, complete dominance. They became reality.
Was there pleasure in that fantasy?
There was excitement, fear, pleasure, all mixed together.
Jeffrey Dahmer fulfilled his fantasies by murdering and
No, we
dismembering
defeated his
17 young men. In time, his desires
17.
became more extreme, his deeds more grotesque.
Well,
Listen to
I'm
him
black.
talk about the most
Yeah,
unnatural things in the most
'Cause he was in that
matter-of-fact
neighborhood.
of ways. That's when you realize that none of it has touched him.
I was branching out. That's when the cannibalism started.
Oh, yeah, so you
Eating of the heart and the arm muscle. It
What
was a
made
way
him
of
decide to eat them?
making
Like,
me
did they
feel
throw it in a pot?
that they were.
He said he
part of
started craving some meat.
At first it was just curiosity. And
Curiosity.
then it became compulsive. Then I tried to keep the person alive by inducing a zombie-like state. By injecting first dilute acid solution into their brain or hot water. And it never did completely work.
Could someone like you be stopped? Could you be helped?
No, I was dead set on
She said, could you be helped?
going with this compulsion. It was the only thing that gave me any
Satisfaction.
satisfaction.
Oh,
He
hey.
became so
I see.
warped by his evil impulses that he even took a victim's head with him to work at the Ambrosia Chocolate Factory.
At the chocolate factory
I
door.
kept the mummified head and skull of one of the victims in a carrying case in my locker at work.
Were you almost flaunting it?
Yes, but that's how strong the compulsion was. That's how bizarre the
Like, it's
desire
not
was. I
me.
wanted to keep something of the person with me.
Jeffrey Dahmer exhibited some disturbing behavior.
He looked like a
early
psycho
on.
killer.
He
That
began
mustache and
drinking
shades.
heavily as a teenager, dropped out of college, was arrested for indecent exposure, disorderly
He looked good right
conduct,
there,
and
though.
fondling a
He looked different,
13-year-old
I don't know what
boy.
happened then, but-
Tragically, one
That's
of
when
his
he was-
murder
when he probably
victims
first
would be
went to
that
jail.
boy's brother.
You know what
This
started
one
it?
probably in
Is
there
there
for a
any
while, 'cause they put on
incident
some
you can
weight.
remember?
Yeah, that
To this
food.
day, I don't know what started it. And the person to blame is sitting right across from you. That's the only person. Not parents, not society, not pornography. I mean, those are just excuses.
Oh, he
His
said it's
macabre
himself.
13-year crime spree finally ended when this man, Tracy Edwards, brought the police to the infamous apartment. Like the others, he had gone there with the promise of money.
He was listening to my heart because at a point he told me he was gonna eat my
I'm
heart.
glad he got away.
He said he'll eat his heart.
What was the
That's what you
turning
do.
point for you that made you suddenly realize that you had done something terribly wrong, something you should be sorry for?
It was the night of the arrest. I have no memory of what happened during the 6 hours.
He said he got no
before,
memory.
The last.
So you telling me he just be blacking out and doing this?
Probably because he be drinking so much.
And the police were there with the last victim. They asked me where the key was to the handcuffs. My mind was in a haze. I sort of pointed to the bedroom, and that's where they found the pictures. And they yelled cuff him. And I was handcuffed. And it was just the realization that there was no point in trying to hide my actions anymore. The best route was to help the police identify all the victims and just make a complete confession.
When he got bored.
When it was revealed that most of the victims were black or homosexual, people in Milwaukee were incensed. Many felt that was why he went after them and why the police didn't seem to care when their families reported them missing.
10 of your 17 victims were black. Were they racially motivated?
It was not racially motivated. It was not sexual preference. It was just to find an obsession with the best-looking young man I could find.
While you just heard him say that his sexual preference had nothing to do with the killings, he has not come to terms with his homosexuality.
Never understood it. There was no use trying to fight it because I couldn't rid myself of it. It was too powerful and persistent.
So you're basically saying most of the black
Yes,
was
it's
good
caused
looking.
Exactly.
problems.
His preference was black people.
A lot of conflicts and unanswered questions.
The conflicts
He did
remain
kill a
with
white
him,
boy.
and so
But I
do
thought
his
it was in
compulsions.
his school.
But in prison, he finally cannot act on his savage desires.
If you were out on the street now, would you still be committing the crimes?
Probably, if this hadn't happened, there's no doubt I probably would.
He don't care. He's
I
saying the
can't think
truth.
of anything that would have stopped me.
This man's so honest. He said probably.
At the end of the day, that last victim was a blessing because he was able to get him turned in
And save everybody
he
else.
saved a lot more people because he would have still been out here doing what he was doing. He would have still been probably getting away with
Yeah,
it.
because the cops wasn't like gonna check on him and that. And like he had all the evidence in his apartment. They actually checked because he didn't hide anything.
That's crazy how someone didn't hide nothing and he just got away with it.
That's the
And
crazy
people go
part.
through so many crazy
Minor
things.
things.
Like people go through so much try to hide stuff. You know what I'm saying? But he even try to hide nothing.
Exactly. That's the funny thing about it. It's like I blame all the cops. They should be like in jail with him.
That shows how much this was like whatever.
He didn't have to pay them off or nothing. They just didn't check.
It was like, oh, he said that's his boyfriend.
Yeah, because like he said, like the neighborhood he was in, they wasn't really caring.
That probably was like a neighborhood that was like, I don't know, it was a bad neighborhood. I'm not
Yeah,
too
it
sure.
was a bad
Oh yeah,
neighborhood.
sometimes neighborhoods like that, a lot of time they really don't care. They
But I think like his killing thing, him killing the guys that he was attracted to, was him trying to hide his homosexuality. Cause like you say, he's still not with the whole he gay.
yeah, it could have been. It's like
A urge.
because I'm attracted to you, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
So
like
nobody
you
find
marriage yourself because you're attracted to that person, so you take their life, but you still want a part of them with you, but you don't want them there physically.
Exactly.
Then he got to the point he was eating their heart. After a while, he probably just would have been out here killing anybody that's eating.
Exactly. Like it was crazy. Well, that's the end of this Inside Edition.
Yeah.
I felt sorry for the interviewer. Looked like she wasn't blinking for a little bit.
She's like, I ain't blinking my eye 'cause he might jump across. You know,
You never know. But he don't want women, honey. So you.
Yeah, he haven't killed. Not that we know of. He ain't killed no female.
Now it was Ted Bundy. She probably would have been.
Yeah,
hurt.
Problem.
But yeah, that's it with this man.
Alright, guys, this in this reaction. Don't forget to check out other Jeffrey
Dahmer.
Dahmer reaction. You know what I'm saying?
We got
Check
3
them out.
more in the playlist.
Yeah, this guy, it was no helping him. We try to get an understanding like where he coming from, but everybody got their own point, their own opinions. But at the end of the day, he just was a killer.
Like he said, even if he get out today, he's still gonna do what he do.
So
So that being said, he got what he deserved.
He was trying to do it in prison, but this wasn't gonna happen.
He ain't got no drugs.
Cause I was like I said, everyone he was killing, he had to drug him. If he wasn't drugging him, it probably would have been a real fight.
Cause he can't fight, yeah.
Yeah, and
Cause it seemed like the other dude, he pushed him and he just ran out the door. Yeah.
Cause in prison, those men different. They
Yeah,
buff,
they
they
build.
build. You don't got no drugs to drug them. You're not about to get away with
They be
that.
working out every day.
And you don't got no money either. And you broke. You know, sometimes you in jail, you got money. Yeah, people gonna be on your side helping you, but nah, you nobody in there, buddy.
He a chocolate man.
Anyway, guys, this is this reaction. Don't forget to leave a like, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. I'm Kel.
I'm Sophia.
Peace.